and welcome to another episode of Earth Whispers with me, your host, Semple. So I'm a geomancer, which is someone who works with the natural energy of the Earth to manipulate environments and transform consciousness. And today we're going to be diving into something that I find really, really exciting. So if you're fascinated by Earth energy, things like ley lines, telluric currents, electromagnetic fields, or the magic of ancient sacred sites, then this is for you. So we're exploring geomancy, which is the ancient practice that I believe lets us communicate with plasma, that mysterious fourth state of matter, to transform our environment in incredible ways. Before we dive in, give this video a quick like, hit the subscribe button, and tap that notification bell so that you don't miss a single bit of Earth energy magic. So, in the next 25 minutes or less, we're going to unpack how geomancy can help us almost terraform our spaces. Think creating harmony, abundance, even sparking new life where there was none. I'm going to share my experiences with plasma at ancient sites and how this ancient wisdom can bring magic to your home today. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar, let's start with geomancy. It's an ancient practice, think thousands and thousands of years old. That's all about working with earth energies to create harmony between us and the land. Now, I've been using geomancy for many years now to align spaces, so homes, farms, businesses, everything, so that everything in that space can thrive. This is at the heart of my Genesis program, which is ancient geomancy for contemporary living. So, but geomancy isn't just sticking stones in the ground and hoping for the best. It's about tuning into the Earth's pulse. So we're talking really things like telluric currents, those natural electric flows in the Earth's crust. We're talking electromagnetic fields, even sound waves that ripple through the land. Now, ancient folks, they used to use geomancy really to build sacred sites like Stonehenge or Carnac, places that actually amplify these energies. But here's the bit that's got me really fired up, because this is, I believe, and from my experience, and now other experiences of other people as well, I believe that geomancy also connects us to plasma. So it's an energy really it's kind of alive, it's responsive, it's within us, and it's all around us. So let's look at what plasma actually is. Well, I'm no scientist to start with. Let me just say this, but we'll try and keep it simple. Plasma is the fourth state of matter. So we've got solids, liquids, and gases. It's what you get really when a gas gets so hot, its atoms break apart into charged particles. So if you imagine you had a lump of something and then that got so hot it broke up into charged particles. Think lightning, the sun, or even, a tiny flame on a candle here on my desk. It's got plasma in it. So over 99% of our universe is plasma, and it's in us too. Our bodies hum, really. They vibrate when electromagnetic energy, it's in us. Our hearts, our blood, our cells, they're all charged. When we douse a space, we're literally tuning into that charge in the landscape. And I think that plasma is a part of that mix of working with earth energy. Now, what's really wild, of course, is that plasma responds to us. It's like it's I believe that it's conscious, and I think we're starting to see that now in evidence. Really, it's a conscious living energy that we can communicate with through geomancy. And I know I've seen this myself at sacred sites and in other forms, and I'll share stories about that in a bit. So here's really where geomancy gets quite magical. I don't think that ancient geomancers just built sacred sites, to look pretty. They were tapping into the Earth's energies to communicate with something much bigger than human consciousness. And I believe that that something includes plasma, because I think plasma is the consciousness of the universe. So let's look at Carnac in France. It has over, there's thousands and thousands of stones which are aligned with telluric currents, those electrical flows, electromagnetic flows through the landscape. And researchers have found that Carnac sits on a magnetic hotspot. And the stones, which are often full of quartz, generate electricity because of the piezoelectric effect. So quartz has a high piezoelectric quality. So they hum, if you like, when vibrations hit them. Now in geomancy, we use tools like dowsing with rods or pendulums to find these energy lines, and then we work with them with natural materials. So stone, quartz, sound, water, sunlight to amplify them. So we're making what's already there more so. And we're enhancing it, we're energizing it because we want to use that energy to enhance our own lives, enhance the animal health, plant life, crop yield, everything to make our lives better, but to do so in harmony with the natural world. But also, I think this process of working with this energy enables us to effectively talk to plasma. So when we chant, use sound or hum, beat drums, or set intentions at these sites, these vibrations actually stir the plasma in the air, the earth, the stones. So it's like we're having a conversation, if you like, with the land's living energy. We're just not using words. We can use words. I've spoken many things into existence, but what we're working with the land's energy, so we're co-creating with it to bring harmony and balance. And really, the results of working this way, I think, can be jaw-dropping. And I've seen it transform spaces in ways really that you wouldn't believe. So, I've visited quite a few sacred sites over the years, and there are times when I have seen what I believe to be plasma. Now, it's not like a sci-fi glow, but there is a shimmer in the air, and we do get plasma balls. So it's an energy that you can also feel as much as see. I think it's a sort of densities of plasma almost. So, I've been fortunate to be at sacred sites where at the right time, because timing is quite important. So just to go one step back, when we're dowsing at sacred sites, and a lot of people douse at sacred sites, we have this impression often that the energy at these sites is stable, and to a degree it is. There are set energy lines that always go through them. There are set water lines that always go through them. They don't move around. They're there. You can douse them every day. But because I can see energy, there is also energy that sometimes is there and sometimes is not. And I presume it's triggered by deep geological processes in the ground sometimes, but it's also triggered when we engage with those sites, with drumming, with humming, with sound. So the earth responds, and then it's like it comes alive and it generates this plasma. And you can notice it as like, start with, it might look like heat in the air, like heat waves, but it isn't hot. And then you can start to generate like balls of plasma. But the interesting thing is that it's responding to us. What we're doing in the landscape, the plasma is responding to us. So, you can plasma is a way almost of like wiring your intentions into the universe to say, I want to talk to its consciousness, and it responds back to us. So, you know, the air feels charged at these places. If you're quite sensitive to these things, the hairs on your arms will stand up. It feels quite prickly almost. You can sense the charge. It's like there's all this charge building up, and you might feel a bit odd. You can feel a bit dizzy. But that's when these things, if you're using things like drumming at a particular hertz, X beats a minute, this charges the atmosphere, charges the air, and we can bring plasma into being. So, I was very fortunate once also to visit visual, well, actually, see ball lightning. And I'm convinced because of that experience of actually it came out of a telephone connection in our house during a big electrical storm in Ireland. It actually came out of our telephone and it went along a hall, turned a right angle, went along another hall and disappeared through the wall. But it almost, when we were watching it and talking, it sort of stopped at the doorways to look in the rooms. It responded to our voice. It sort of came backwards and forwards a little bit. And I was convinced, and I was only a teenager at the time, but I was convinced that that ball lightning was conscious. It was the most incredible experience. So, I want to think about everything in the universe. We have plasma in us. Plants have plasma in the water in their cells. It is in everything, and it's a way of communicating, I think, with the consciousness, because it responds to our thoughts, it responds to our voices. So I think through geomantic practices, through the creation of sacred sites, but also working with even just the energy in our homes and our landscapes, we can work with this consciousness plasma to really transform our environment, which brings me on to the next bit, really, which is almost like terraforming. Now, I don't want let's talk about what I mean by terraforming. I'm not talking about some sci-fi stuff. I'm talking about real tangible change. And geomancy lets us change our environment by working with plasma and earth energies. I've seen it happen. It's at the core of my Genesis program. So let's take Liz. She's one of my Genesis participants. Her land was barren. It had, there was no life in it. She'd done a lot of shamanic work and managed to call a small spring into being, but it wasn't really flowing. It was, minimum. So I helped her through the program. She dowsed for all the telluric currents, all the water features, and we found key energy spots where certain things interacted, where certain lines came together, where certain vortices were occurring. And she built a cairn with rocks, and it had to be a particular size to cover a particular vortex. And we put a quartz crystal in it that aligned with a particular energy flow because that quartz had piezoelectric properties. The result was that this a stream sprang into life from the small spring that wasn't really doing anything. The area is now lush. It started to grow rapidly. And Liz is a keen gardener, and what we have found is that the plants that she's working with are now stronger and healthier. She's created growing beds of particular sacred geometry shapes to test the different results and different plants. So rather than a garlic bulb, we've now got a garlic bulb. And it's not just about plant growth as well, it's also about people's health. Visitors feel calm and soothed just being there. And what's actually happened over her whole property is this massive hexagonal dome of energy has appeared. It's much bigger than where she lives, and it's quite high. So you get these energy domes over places, and they are of a hexagonal nature. So it's kind of like structured. It structures the energy. It enables that energy to be transmitted. It's sort of it holds a charge. It moves the information around within the landscape. So that is what we can achieve when we start this co-creation. And I think in essence, the spirit of the land is its plasma, is its localized consciousness in plasma. And by tuning in to the sort of energy blueprint, because everything has an energy blueprint before it comes into form. Think of it like a draftsman's drawing. I have an energy blueprint, you have an energy blueprint, and that blueprint is almost held within the plasma before it's brought into form in the formed world, in the 3D world. So by tuning into those energy blueprints and using nature's electromagnetic fields, which kind of bridge the gap with materials like quartz, we can transform spaces. We can make the soil better so it grows more abundantly. Animal health is improved, and we can, unlock the gifts and talents that we came here with to meet the needs of the world. We all came here with something to achieve. And when we're in a great environment where it's energetically charged, we're tapping into the universe, we can receive guidance and information that enables us to bring our unique gifts and talents to meet the needs of the world. That's what we came here for. So this is geomancy really at its best. It's sort of terraforming our environment to bring harmony, abundance, and life to fulfillment in all its forms. So what does this mean for you, really? Well, wherever you live somewhere on a patch of earth. And your home, the area that you live on, has its unique living spirit with its own energy blueprint. And through geomancy, you can tune into that energy and you can connect with the plasma in your space, and you can transform your space into a sanctuary that supports you, that supports your family members, that supports your goals, that supports your ambitions, that enables your plants to thrive and your animals to be healthy. It's like it's an all-inclusive remedy, if you like. So, when I douse a home, and when you learn to douse a home, you are working with telluric currents. You're working with electromagnetic fields. And I believe you're working with plasma too. So by using natural materials and intention, like placing a quartz crystal in your home on a particular site where the energy is going to be most improved by it, or, using tuning forks or drums or humming to charge the air, you can co-create with your place's spirit. You can say, this is my intention for this space, and your intention is transmitted in the plasma, and the world, supports you. The interesting thing about the spirit of your home, the spirit of the landscape, is that you're already written into its blueprint. Your presence, you were meant to be there. So when we have other creative ideas, let's say I want to build a business or write a book, that project comes from, the inspiration may come from something else. And we are in service to that spirit to bring that thing into being. But when we're working with the spirit of the home, we're in service to bring our being to full fulfillment. We're actually sort of acting as our own midwives, and we are held in the womb of the spirit of the place where our home is. Our job is to see our own successful birthing into the world. So really, when we're working with the energy of our home, it's about making your home almost like a mini sacred site, alive with conscious energy that really supports your soul's purpose. So this is what I love teaching in my Genesis program, is how to do this step by step. So, there you have it, really. Geomancy, plasma, and transforming, or really terraforming our environment, is something that has fascinated me throughout my years of earth energy work when I first started. When I first visited sacred sites as a kid, and I realized I could see this energy. So almost like it bends light around it. Imagine Predator, the film. It bends light around. You could see these shapes against the greenery, and they're a bit blurred. And then I realised it's forming lines. It's forming these big donut toroid shapes. It's forming columns. It's forming vortices. And I could see how they interacted and how some are permanent and some are temporary. So that really, there's a lot to take in. It was a lot to take in. But it did get me fired up to explore and to learn more. And that took me all round many different disciplines and learning, from, shamanic learning, druidic, to quantum biology, to geobiology, all sorts of fields, to understand what this energy was that I was seeing, how it worked, because I thought ancient man recognized this was here. And he did not put these structures here by accident. They are deliberately aligned to certain fields and forces, temporary and permanent energy structures, because they just make everything better. So, if you've ever felt the buzz of a sacred site or sensed your home's energy, I think, you'll know what I'm talking about. We recognize that some spaces are really special. So if you want to dive deeper into geomancy, check out my program, Genesis Ancient Geomancy for Contemporary Living. You'll find a link on my website, which is the links below. And also, stay tuned for my YouTube interview with Liz, where she's going to be sharing her Cairn story. So I'll share that link soon too. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your spiritual mates, your friends, and let's keep exploring the magic of the universe together.